gone to the fountain and been at the feet of Jesus, all things are possible. Do you know, regardless of where you are now, with Jesus you can go to the highest height and the lowest depth of where you want to go. Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. Have you ever had a downtime? Sometimes people think that when you're not on the scene and you're not moving, sometimes that's the best time in your life. I have two awesome friends with me right now, and I would not want to trade either one of them for anything. They are present help in the time of need. We've done some things together. We were on an awesome television series in Atlanta, What Mama Used to Say. Culver kind of took us down for a minute, but we're back up and we're running. There's wealth of knowledge. There's wealth of knowledge here, and I want you to know that I'm going to bring forth all of that. Keep tuned, stay in tune to Life Skills Ministry, Stepping Stones to the Throne, and of course, the miracle of being at the feet of Jesus. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Good evening. I'm glad to invite you in to meet one of my favorite people and one of my FBs. My favorite. This is Valerie Cotton, and we had the distinct pleasure of being on a television show out of Atlanta, What Mama Used to Say. And we did some great things together, and now that we're kicking off Life Skills Ministry, Stepping Stones to the Throne, the third session of it has come to be when those go to the fountain of youth. And Valerie and I are going into the fountain of knowledge, of wisdom, absolutely, of understanding, and good health and prosperity. The pandemic, and it just slowed us down and stopped us from our mission. Oh my gosh, so many things has changed, and now that we're starting up a new show, are you excited?
Oh yes.
We got a lot of guests. We have 14 individuals that's coming to be a part of something that is historical. I want to talk to you about our last show. Come on, let's have a seat here. And I want to share with my listening audience some of the highlights that we had, and let's go back down memory lane. What do you think was our greatest moment with Mama Used to Say, with that television production? That it went on for quite some time. We had what, about 11 or 14 series? Something. 10. Okay. I said 11 or 14 probably because we went over and over and over again. What do you think was the highlight of it?
I think when we had Liddell Hill on,
yeah,
speaking about nature and foods from the earth.
Okay.
So I think that was one of our biggest highlights.
Okay.
And we had so many wonderful topics that it was just too amazing to pick just one. And I think all of them were so profound.
Yes. We talked and we dealt with issues that affect our whole entire life. That television series, it talked about what Mama would say in various situations, whether it was marriage,
yes,
divorce, homosexuality, church, religion, stress, suicide, Jesus, God. There was very few topics that we did not address.
Yeah,
But what I remembered, I think, most with you was when we actually talked about commitment, longevity, and marriage. And to find that you've been a widow for so many years and raised two fantastic children. I think that was your strongest point, that you said, I never married, and you said it was by choice. Tell us.
Well, it's not that I am trying to find someone that's exactly like my husband was, but I feel that I'm at a time in my life where I'm comfortable with me. And I've been comfortable with me for many, many years. And a lot of times people have to be comfortable with themselves before they can be comfortable
exactly
with
what you said.
Someone else. Yeah.
I think another thing that Valerie mentioned that changed my life during the series, I'm known as a person that is easy to forgive. That's just my history. Whatever conflict arises, that there is a solution for forgiveness, I can find it and I can move on. And I remember Valerie saying to me, she says, I need to correct you, young lady. She says, I've served as a counselor at Grady's Hospital for many years. She said, and one thing that I think that may be a stumbling block for you. She says, okay to forgive, but what you have done is decided to forget. And I said, she said, when you forget, it's like studying and taking a test, you flunk. And when you said that, I realized, wow, I flunked on many occasions because I went right back. I forgot the experience. I forgave the persons, and then because I forgot it, the bad, the hurt, the pain, I go back into it. And that's when she reminded me. She said, when you forget, when you forgive, then that means you flunk. It's like you study for your test, and then on test day, you get a D or F because you forgot your work. And I went, oh, a light opened up in me. And I want to tell you, thank you. We had quite some time.
Oh yes,
we had quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I would think so much about our future in the industry, because our giving, and we have a platform, and I think we have so much to say. We'll be right back with you just a little while.
Like, comment, and subscribe for more. If you would like your story featured on our show, just message us or leave a comment and we will reach out to you.
Good evening. Thank you for sharing with us just one more time. As you know, we're the founder of Life Skills Ministry, Stepping Stones to the Throne, and our new series of being at the fountain of youth, the fountain of prosperity, the fountain of joy, the fountain of hope. All of that is when you have been with Jesus. We were just reminiscing with Valerie about what Mama used to say. And Delores is a part of our television production in Atlanta, Georgia. We did a 10-part series, a 10-part series that was phenomenal. And COVID just came in and just gave us the wrong kind of snack, and we subsided. You see us here today, we have all been vaccinated, and we have even checked temperatures at the door. So we want you to know that we're not being reckless and careless. Dolores is the individual that I was so impressed with here in Savannah. I get a call that it's a a great television production that's coming out, and I actually gave the people your resume, and I said, you have my resume? She said, you know, we've been doing things together, and it worked where they actually considered me, and I was a part of the cast. Delores, I'm so happy that you're here now, and we miss what we had because of COVID, but now we are starting our own. Tell me this, are you still happily married?
Yes, I am.
To that young man that I aided you in introducing you to?
Yes, I am.
Is he? I want to share this with you. I want to say this for senior citizens. Delores, you see how beautiful she is, but don't let that fool you. She got about 75 years on her. Yes. And I want to use this to say there's still hope. There is still hope. And there are still good men.
Yes.
There are still good women. Marriage is still the #1 and top institution in the world. Out of everything, a solid family life and home. I use that, I share that with you because I met Delores. She was on her way to me to spend some time from Atlanta in Savannah, and on her road trip, she met this man. And when she got to Savannah, she whispered to me, and I said, oh, do you like him? She says, I don't know. She says, my husband has been dead. I have not been involved with anybody. She said, I don't even know how to act. So I told her, she said, I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to act. And I said, well, first off, act cute. That was the first thing. First thing I could tell her was act cute and swing your hair. He already liked you, right? But beyond that, Delores is, as I affectionately call her, she is Pastor Delores Williams Blue. She's pastored a church in Atlanta, a retired pastor, so she says, but she ministers daily. Yeah. I want to tell you a few things about her because I was so impressed with her when I met her, that this young lady is an entrepreneur, from way back. She started one of the most, I think, outrageous type of salons in Atlanta back in the day when we as black people, we were not exposed to the type of services that she provided. But she didn't stop there. She had one in the city of Savannah with a very good friend of hers, was Delores too. Her friend happened to be a Delores. So there was Delores in Atlanta and Delores here. So it was not unusual for her to be able to say, hey, we're fixing to do a television show, and I've sent your resume in. And I said, you did? She said, yes, and you should be getting a call. But Delores, I want to talk to you about what's going on now with you, that we had to slow down with what Mama used to say, and Culver is here, and your new marriage and your new husband, we'll meet him in a little while. Tell somebody about life after 70. I'm 70 some. Life after 74.
Life after 74. Well, I've discovered that life after 74 can still be fun. It can still be loving. It's just a different world. Especially, my husband who passed, the time I met my love now, it was 5 years. And I never even dreamed or thought about having anyone else. I never even thought about it. On my way to Savannah, I meet him in a car. And he's funny, he messes with you, kick at you and all that. So I ended up, just laughing.
And that's what you needed.
Yes.
You needed the medicine of laughter.
Yeah, you needed the joy. He said that's one of the gifts, to have joy. And he made me laugh. So, and then when we got back to Savannah, I had some engagements. In fact, I think you came to one of them. I had to go to a formal affair.
Yes. We went to a high school prom.
Right. Yes, we did.
I remember that. I remember that.
That's right.
And yes, I was with the two of you. I was the third wheel.
Yes.
And we went to the high school prom, and I remembered I was in the back seat, and you came to the car with all of these roses.
Yes.
And you said, here. And I said, oh, these are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, those are for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all of these are for me? And I think you said he has 5 dozen roses in the house. That was a bad boy, right?
Yes,
he was ready. He bought
trying to show
5.
off.
He was trying. He bought 5 dozen roses.
Yes, he did. He bought, and he gave me one. And I shared one with you.
And you had the other 3 on a major display.
Yeah.
Delores, let me ask you something. I remember come on, listen. I remember when we were working with what Mama used to say.
Yes.
And I remember you talking so much about marriage.
Yes.
That you, at that particular time, you were not married. Your husband had passed about 4 years. And the thing that you and your husband were working in the ministry together, and had built an awesome ministry.
Yes, we did.
And I remember you saying that, Pastor, there's about maybe 40 people out there that I could definitely say that you licensed, you ordained, you got prepared for the ministry.
Yes.
And you and your husband, I heard y'all were like a tag team right now.
Yes, we were.
Y'all work together.
Yes, we did.
In a new ministry.
Yes.
My God. Tell me some of the things that, if you wanted to tell somebody about our experience with what Mama used to say. I remember I was talking to Valerie earlier, and I pulled out something that she said that was the most significant that she remembered. What would you say when we talked about marriage?
Yeah.
That you was the most significant part of you on that show?
Okay. Well, I could say that at that particular time, before this young man, the man that I was married to, well, he went on home to be with the Lord, but our life was very exciting. We had a very exciting life. He was on the wrong side of the law, but he was always a gentleman. And I remember when I came to the Lord, but the reason how I came to the Lord, I came back to Savannah.
You're from Savannah?
I'm from Savannah, but I hadn't lived in Savannah for quite a while. And I came to visit a friend, another Delores. And so she was dealing with me where I was at that time, because I wasn't saved. I was still having parties or whatever. And, not wild parties, but having. And so we ended up going out. She took me out that night to a club. And then when we came back, she sat down and started talking to me about her new life, how she had changed her life. And at this particular time, there was something that was missing in my life, and I knew I needed it, but I didn't know what it was. That's why it's so easy for me now to be a witness for Christ. So anyway, so we sat there. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we started talking, and so she goes and
you got baptized that night?
Not that night, because it was late. Now, with this particular church, if you wanted to be baptized, the pastor would have come on out. They'd put the water in the pool and baptize you. But I said, no, we'll wait till tomorrow. And what I did call my son, who was in Atlanta, and had him to get a plane to come down to be with me. We went to the church, there was nobody else there, with a little water thing, and it might have had a little stuff in it or whatever, but I went in the water. And when I came out, my life really was changed.
Amen. And it really and truly was.
Yeah.
And it's evident. But I remembered something that I wanted to share. And I know that I remembered when you first began to talk about marriage, and you said, no, I don't think I would ever marry again. I had the best husband. I've had a great life.
Yes.
And then you even put in something to say about your age at the time. You said, I'm not. You said, I'm through. That I am too old. But and I looked at her because I was saying, you're too old? And she stated that she was too old. But I remembered you stating, you said, if God has something for me,
Yes.
He'll send it.
Yes.
And then when He sent him, she says, is that him or should I look for another? So we wanted to just chat.
Yeah.
We wanted to share. I wanted the people to know that you're going to be a strong force and an anchor in our new series. We are in Stepping Stones to the Throne, as you know, is Life Skills Ministry, and our next is actually after you've gone to the fountain with Jesus.
Yeah.
There's power, there's wisdom, there's knowledge, there's understanding, there's forgiveness, there's healing, there's everything that you need. You'll find at the foot of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at the heart of Jesus, at the mind of Jesus. And I say to you, my sister, I look forward to great things happening. Let us call your husband. I think he's in the audience. Come on out, Mr. Blue. let us see and talk a little bit with you.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember, let me tell you the first thing that stood out with him when I met him. And I asked him, I introduced myself, and he says, my name is L.D. Blue. And I said, oh, okay. And so I asked him, I said, what does the L stand for? He says, huh? I says, you said L.D. Blue. I said, what does the L stand for? He said, huh? I said, what's your full name? He said, L.D. Blue. And I said, oh, so you didn't get a real name. He says, no, they just put an L, put a period, they put a D, and then they put blue after it. And ever since then, I've just been, my birth certificate and everything says L.D. Blue. So you're meeting a first time L.D. initials is his full name, Blue. But he's Deacon he's Deacon Blue. I've gained a lot of respect for this young man. I married the two of them, and God bless me. I actually made one of the prettiest gowns I've seen for her. And he was handsome as he could be. Deacon Blue, I wanted to speak to you about something that's just a little different from this, what we're speaking of. But I realize that you've been a deacon, that Delores and you are inseparable in your church, and that your ministry is really growing, the home, the inside ministry. Tell me a little bit something about it. What do you attribute it to?
What do I attribute to? Well, I had a good, what I call a foundation of Bryant Baptist Church. I'm originally from Valerie, Georgia. And there, I went to church as a child. I had to go. But I learned there, as I grew older, that church set a foundation for me. And it helped me. No matter how far I go or where I always wander back to the church, the basic fundamentals of right and wrong. And it's helped me tremendously in my life. And I give praise and thanks to God for their First Bryant Baptist Church there in Bronx, Georgia.
Amen. Amen. And you came out of a family of ministers. I met your sister and pastors, and I know that. But what I wanted to talk with you about is the fact that you made a massive change in your life when you took Delores on as a wife. I want to share that there's hope for older people. You know, there's a time, we have time zone things. And I hear many men and women say, oh, I'm too old. I'm too old to marry now. I'm too old to buy a house now. I'm too old. Well, I think you might be too old to have children now. That might be a truth in it. But there are many things that we use age as a goal and age as a stop. And they did not. They use age to their advantage. And I want to say that their marriage is based on love. I think it's a foundation there. But I do believe that it's based on experience. That if you've had a lot of experience, it doesn't matter whether it's good. You're gonna have some good if you got some bad. You're gonna have a mixture. But when you take those experiences and you wrap them together, you can get a vibrant marriage out of it. I heard y'all travel a lot. Y'all just got back from somewhere.
Yes.
Was Texas?
Texas.
Texas.
Yes.
Texas. Now you tell me your background. What have you done?
Oh, after I finished high school, I ended up in the military.
Okay.
My sister ended up in the military. I sorted out. I wanted to go see the other side.
How long were you in the military?
Over 20 years.
Oh, you that's right. You retired military.
Yes.
And then I thought that when you got back, you became a postal. All right, and then you retired from the post office.
And then I set up working on a car sales ship.
And then you retired, so you've had at least 3 retirements.
Oh, you counting?
At least, that's wonderful. I want to encourage you all in your ministry and in your marriage. And as we begin to kick off on our new show, we do need a good chauffeur. So we got you for that. We'll be right back with you with our next segment. But I do want you to know that there is hope after 60, after 70. Some of you give up after 50. But with God, with Jesus on your side, there is nothing that's too hard for God and you. See you next time. Thanks for letting me serve you. I want you to know that when you subscribe, you promote this channel that sends hope, love, faith throughout the world to people that are hurting, that are dying for the lack of knowledge. I bless God for you.